This is the yard weasel that Ariana and I did some repairs on, and Ariana did participate, absolutely. I was given two problems. One, they were concerned about the gears meshing with the worm gear, which it wasn't very well. And the other problem was the popper didn't work at all. And the stick on the end of the stick was broken. So Ariana and I took a drift and drifted out the cut nails that hold these two verticals in. And very slowly with rasp, we started rasping this down so that the whole thing settled a little bit. And in the process of that, we discovered that this gear was very sloppy on the axle, which after 150, 200 years, whatever, that's very possible. And so at that point, I decided let's stop, because we can always take more off later if we need to. And later on, we popped out the axle, which just was a matter of just tapping it out. Found the center. Actually, I found two centers because that gear has one piece of wood that it's dried, so it's more of an oval than it is a circle. And so I found using a pair of dividers, I found the center, and the true center, and drilled that out to the right size, and then put the new dowel in for the axle. And we discovered that on some of the gears, as the longer axis of the gear, it was meshing with the worm gear very, very closely. So we didn't want to lower that anymore. And while Ariana was with me at the shop, my shop, we did replace this piece of wood, piece of rivet oak, for the popper. And I made it the same way the one was that was on there when we took it off. And in the process of using it at the house, it broke again, just like the first one did. So I got to looking it over, and the old one had been set over a little bit at an angle, and it was much wider than the nail. So I took that off and made another piece of wood, a little narrower, and I snuggled it over closer, and so so far it's been working right along. And the other problem I found was it squeaked a lot. So I lubricated everything with beeswax, which probably will make the bees happy this summer, but anyway. So now it runs quietly, it runs properly. This is geared so that 40 turns gives you 80 yards of yarn. And I can't remember if it's 2 or 3 of those gives you a hank. I think it's 3. So what it was used for, it was a measuring device is what it was for. And you turn and turn and turn. Whoops, still squeaky, but that's because of the cold, I think. And in a moment, that popper will come up. The nail will come up. It's in the gear. Lift that up, and pop goes the weasel. And that's all we did. We did as little as possible, so we did as little damage as possible. Kept it as authentic as possible. So it seems to be mostly oak. I think even the gear is oak. It's hard to tell because it's aged so much over the years, but that's what we did, and that's how we did it. So